Hey guys, this is Kai from WCC, and today we're going to talk about player positioning at team tournaments. Now, there's two kinds of team tournaments. There's ones where you can communicate, and there's ones where you can't communicate with your team. Now, for English Spring Fest, you can't communicate with your team, so we'll talk about that one first and where you should place your players. Now, let's introduce you to the team that we're going to look at today. And we've got Baron Kadani here. He is your good, confident player. He's really strong at Vanguard. He can play any deck. Great player. One of your best. Next, we've got Izumo. He's also really good at getting the job done. Very strong player. Doesn't talk much, but that's how it is. And lastly, we've got Aichi, who recently got his clan nerfed. He's very sad about that. He's not that confident in the format. So he's probably the weakest link in your team. Now, team tournaments. Where should they sit? Now, one thing that a lot of people just do, they go to the team tournament on the day, they go, oh, we've got to pick where we want to sit. I'm the strongest. Baron Kanani, he's the strongest guy today. I'm going to sit at player A because that's where all the good guys sit. And then Izumo is the player B, he's the second best player. And then Aichi, he's the weakest today. He sits at player C, and that's done. Otherwise, you can go by deck choices. You go Bermuda Triangle. Yep, you're the strongest deck. You go on player A. Next best deck, Murakumo. Yep, you're on player B. And then Aichi, Royal Paladins. Okay, it looks like you're at player C. They could do it like that. As such, you can kind of think that a lot of the weaker players or the jankier decks are in player C. So if you have a player on your team that doesn't feel that confident, maybe that's where they should go. Otherwise, you could also go the super confirmed win route, which is you put your better player on the last spot, and hopefully he just wins all his games and you just sacrifice your weaker player to the player A slot. That happens. But generally speaking, a lot of the weaker players or jankier decks will be on player C. With Japan, though, they give names to their players, actual names like Shogun. So their strongest player is on player C. So basically everything is reversed. Everything is reversed. So if you go to Japan, maybe that's their mindset is the reverse of your Western mindset, so that might be, you just might have to reverse that. With the team tournaments that we've been at, the first time we won at our Springfest, we did put our weakest player, well, not our weakest player, but our jankiest deck on player C. It was in the Chaos Messiah format, and he basically beat everyone because he didn't see any Chaos Messiah. So that's that. Now, with another consideration is that even though you cannot communicate in a no communication tournament, you can see how your players are doing during Swiss, because the tournament venue generally doesn't have enough space to separate your entire team. So you'll all be sitting together. You cannot talk to each other, but you can see how their games are going. So in that case, you can put your weakest player onto player B, and you can just see how he's doing. If he's doing well, that means your player A and player C then could take slightly more risks in their game. But then if they see that he's actually losing, they have to play more, they have to then make a safer choices so they don't lose too. So that's another idea you can go with. Keep in mind that when you get into the top cut, they get more space. They can start separating the players, so you might not be able to do that strategy anymore. But it's still a good consideration to think of. Now, we'll move on to tournaments where they do allow communication. Now, in that case, one player can tell the entire team all the ideas. And in that case, you'd be thinking maybe the best player would be in player B. And you'd probably be correct. In that case, the best player can see how the other two guys are doing. He can offer advice to both players without much issue. And that's ideal. That is ideal. Now, you don't want someone who doesn't talk on player B. Like, even though Izumo is very strong, he's a very strong player, he doesn't talk much because he's an aircraft carrier. He can't talk. So him being on player B means he's just taking up space. These two can't really talk to each other. He's just playing his own game and not caring. That's that. The other thing though, because of this rule, people putting their best player on player B means you can snipe him. You can go, hey, Aichi, you're doing very badly and you're not confident in this metagame. You can sit on player B. I'll give you a gold paladin deck. You can beat all their best players and good luck. Good luck. That's it, right? So you could do that. You can try and snipe their best player with a really high rolly deck like Ezel just to snag off a win. Otherwise, the other rules kind of still apply apart from the best player sitting in the middle. A lot of people will still put their weakest player onto player C. So if you put your weakest player there, that works too. Now, what we did for our Springfest last year, they did allow communication. I sat myself onto player B. I'm probably the weakest player in our team because our team has a lot of strong players. I was playing Gear Chronicle. It's kind of a slow deck in our team composition. We had Anji and we also had Dark Irregular Demagogue Assassin build. So I was kind of playing the slowest deck. I also played kind of a bit slower than the other two because their brains are better than mine. So generally I would be finishing last every single time, but that's fine because our teammates don't really require help. They can finish their games and help me out. And then I'm basically screwing over their best player. Their best player has to focus on my game. They have to check out my combos. They have to check out my heritage turns. And then they don't have enough time to help out the other players in their team. Unfortunately, that didn't work in the finals where we lost because I bricked and I died like 0-2 really quickly. And then the middle player helped out player C and then killed out player C. So unlucky for us. But that could be a consideration for you if you're in tournaments that allow communication. I know that in Japan, they do allow communication in their team tournaments. And that's why it's also really popular and great atmosphere. Atmosphere. Bushiroad, maybe think of that when you make next year's team tournament. But this team tournament is always fun. Really gets the team spirit going, I think. Hopefully this will help you out maximizing your wins. It's not confirmed. I'm not a scientist. I only did Psychology 101 at uni my first year, but that doesn't help me in anything because it's first year psych. I'm not a scientist, but I'm a player of Vanguard, and this is what experience has taught me. Hopefully it helps you out and helps you just nab that extra win. Maximize your chances of winning. So hope you guys have fun playing Vanguard and see you guys in the next video.